Okay, I'm not kidding. Uh, After well, a long fucking time, that I have finally played through GoldenEye 007 on Xbox One, the Xbox Remastered version. And yeah, after completing it, I can clearly see that this game has been so praised as one of the greatest console FPS games of all time. I didn't actually expect to really enjoy a game this old. I just thought that okay, I just need to play this just because every time when gamers are talking about the greatest first person shooters of all time, especially console ones, you can hear GoldenEye 007. So yeah, I definitely see now why this is so highly praised game. It's still awesome game. I mean, because I have no nostalgia. I have never played it before. I've only seen some gameplay of it. So my review is like, it's not full of nostalgia. It's just, this is non-nostalgia review of GoldenEye 007. And I really enjoyed it. It was very, very fun shooter. Very short, but I expected that. It only took me about, I'd say, 2 to 3 hours. There's 18 missions or levels, 18 missions slash levels, and they are very short. You can even complete some missions, under 5 minutes if you really want to. There are some missions that are a little bit longer, but they are quite short, all of the missions. You can pretty much, if you know what to do, even first time, you can complete, I think you can complete first time most of the levels, if not all, in under 30 minutes. I think it took me about 25 minutes, the longest missions I played, and the shortest ones was about 10 minutes. But I like it that way, and the mission based progress. So it's not the, of course the next mission usually continues where the last missions ended, but there are some occasions where it's going back in time, and they are not continuing from the last mission. So yeah, first of all, the gameplay. It's very, very fun. It's just a blast to shoot. It's very fun to shoot enemies. And there are many kinds of weapons, from pistols, rifles, sniper rifles, Uzis, machine guns, grenade launchers, even, you know, bazooka or rocket launcher. I think I picked up that weapon in one mission. And you can even dual wield weapons, even different ones. I mean, in some mission I had, in my other arm I had machine gun, and on other hand I had grenade launcher. But usually you dual wield same weapons. Usually machine guns, different kinds of. But yeah, and graphics, of course, it looks very mid to late 90s game graphically, and of course because it's originally a Nintendo 64 game. Of course this Xbox Remastered had upscaled resolution, of course better frame rates. I played it on my Xbox One S, even though I just recently purchased Xbox Series S, which I knew it would perform better, but yeah, when I got GoldenEye Remaster, I only had Xbox One S at the time, so I decided to play it on my Xbox One. And the frame rate on Xbox One isn't perfect. It's actually chucking, the frame rate is chucking at some points quite heavily. Well, not as heavily as it would affect your gameplay much, but I noticed some hiccups on frame rates. Definitely the textures and character models look sharper definitely than on Nintendo 64 version, and of course it has naturally the widescreen 16:9 widescreen support, the remaster, and the remaster also have, aside from the campaign story, it has a local multiplayer up to, I think, 4 players. But of course I only have 2 controllers. I'm not sure about if it supports 4 players, but at least 2 players locally, so you can play death matches and whatnot with your friend locally. The Xbox One version doesn't have online feature, like the N64 version that was released on the same day as the Xbox version on Nintendo Online. That has online mode, so you can play it online, but not this. This has only local multiplayer. But to be honest, I appreciate much more local multiplayers than online. I'm not an online gamer by no means, but I love when games have a local multiplayer. It's always a welcomed feature for me. And talking about the sound and music is really good. Of course, it's very James Bond themed. There are, those familiar James Bond themes in different remixes, but not always. Some soundtracks, at least for me, was not the familiar James Bond themed, but the music is really good overall, And the sound qualities especially are very good for a time, all the punchiness of weapons and just, sound effects. They are really good at for the time. They still, sound good, but I'm not sure how much they improve the sounds, over. I mean, of course, they have somewhat improved the sound quality comparing to N64 version, which is known by a very low quality sounds because games were on cartridge and the audio was so compressed that it was not very clear. N64 sounds were quite muted and just, mushy, I would say. But anyway, sound quality, music, really great. Then the animations for the time, they look really good. The death animations when you shoot enemies. The death animations are really detailed for the time. And they still look quite, I would say, quite good. Even today's standards, they look good. And it just makes the gameplay so much more fun when, enemies are, their death animations are, just some of are very hilarious and funny. It just makes the gameplay so much better and more enjoyable when, enemies just, like, they don't react. They always react to when you shoot them on leg, on arm, wherever you shoot them. They react like some crappy ass FPS games where enemies just don't react to when you shoot them. That's just bullshit, in my opinion. So they react when you shoot them. What else to say? Okay, about some mission objectives. There are some tedious mission objectives, especially towards the end of the game. There was some, I think it was mission 16, where you had to, the female character, I can't remember the name, but you needed to what's the word? When she was hacking the computer, you needed to shoot the enemies so the enemies couldn't kill the female who was hacking the system. That actually was quite hard. I think I died a couple of times in that objective and I hated it. And fortunately there wasn't, protect was the word. Yes, you needed to protect the female character when she was hacking the computer. That was a little bit annoying objective. There was fortunately just a few missions where you needed to, progress with that same female character, and some escort missions, but they were just few and they were not so hard. But mainly you progressed alone in missions. And yeah, some mission objectives were quite clever, quite creative. Well, not by today's standards, actually very basic, but I just liked some mission objectives, like take a photograph uh, and copy a GoldenEye key and throw away the original, and you know, mission objectives like that. I liked some. They were really, yeah, just fun objectives. Mainly the mission objectives were, you know, good, but there was some annoying ones. But the game overall wasn't really hard, but of course that has to do that I played with Agent, the easiest mode. There was 3 difficulty levels, and I played with the easy. So yeah, but still on easy I died couple of times, but I'm not sure if I will play this again with harder difficulty, because you know, I'm not an FPS expert. I'm not very skilled on FPS games, I gotta admit. I'm, you know, pretty good, but definitely not my FPS games are not my expert. I'm not expert on first person shooters. They are not my expertise. But yeah, overall really good game. And yes, one thing I want to mention, that I, as a fan of Time Splitters games 1, 2 and 3, and I hope there will be one day a 4th Time Splitters. But yeah, I noticed that, you know, after playing Time Splitters games, I noticed that, you know, even though I don't think, at least what I remember, Time Splitters games are not, yeah, they are not developed by Rare. I think they were developed by Free Radical Games, which might have some ex-members or some members of Rare, because I see so much similarities, you know, between Time Splitters games and GoldenEye 007. There are so much similarities that you can clearly see that the biggest influence and inspiration for Time Splitters games were GoldenEye 007, definitely. It has the same feeling, so of course that had to do with how much I enjoyed GoldenEye 007 because of Time Splitters games. So I immediately felt at home when playing GoldenEye, because it had so much similarities with Time Splitters series. Anyway, so, and of course the score which I would give GoldenEye 007 Remastered version on Xbox, I will give 9 minus out of 10. Yeah. Not so, of course, if I would have reviewed this game back when it was new or much newer, I would have give it a better score. I would have probably gave it very close to perfect score, but I'm like reviewing it how I see it today. But still today it holds up very well, surprisingly well, so much deserved 9 minus out of 10. Really, really, really great game and fun experience, even though it was short one. But yeah, I will be definitely playing the local multiplayer with my cousin or my brother when the opportunity, when I have the opportunity. Definitely going to play a little bit of that multiplayer goodness. Anyway, this was my review and hope you liked it. And yeah, finally I can say that I have finally completed GoldenEye, even though it took me almost 30 years. Yeah, like 26, 27 years. Anyway, yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.